Hello and welcome. Let's examine a provocative idea, one that the scriptures whisper and your own experience confirms when you get still enough to hear it. You are divine consciousness, moving through human form, not metaphorically, literally. 2,000 years of interpretation and satanic inversion has trained us to believe the opposite. But the original text hasn't changed, only our reading has. When asking for the divine name, the reply is simple and seismic. I am. The same consciousness fact pulsing in you right now as you listen. Not a title, not a distant being, just the fundamental sense of existence before any name, story, or circumstance. I and consciousness are one. And again, the most radical line in every church, the kingdom of heaven is within you. If these statements are literal, everything we think we know about spirituality rearranges itself. The search for connection ends, not because you found a better bridge crossing, but because you realize you never needed one. You are the divine consciousness itself, playing the game of limitation to experience discovery. The teacher who laid this mechanism bare in modern language is Neville Goddard. He didn't hedge. Consciousness is the one and only reality, not symbolically, operationally. The world you experience, people, events, bank accounts, diagnoses, is your consciousness objectified. The observer and the observed are not two. The conscious mind is masculine and selective. It thinks, judges, chooses. The subconscious is feminine and receptive. It accepts impressions and gives them form. Feeling is the only language between them. No idea, no matter how noble, reaches the subconscious without feeling. But once a feeling is accepted, whether joyful or fearful, it must be expressed. Your sustained emotions are the blueprint for your world. So what about the constant fear you rehearse? It's shaping a future, the quiet belief in scarcity. It's writing your ledger. And while most of us were trained to petition an external power, conditioned to ask permission to exist fully, every prayer was always an inner conversation. Your deeper self is asking you to remember. This forgetting isn't a flaw. It's the design. The infinite chooses finitude for one reason, to experience what omniscience can't. Surprise, risk, the thrill of overcoming. Like an actor dissolving into a role, consciousness veils itself to make the drama real. The awakening, the lifting of that veil, comes as grace, not effort. Grace is the sudden recognition of who you've always been. Scripture is a code book for this inner mechanics. The names matter. Jehovah, he who causes to be, the creative act in your consciousness performs every moment. Lord, the one with domination. Your domination is exercised through feeling. Christ, Christos, the anointed consciousness awakened to its creative power. Jesus, Yahusha, Jehovah saves consciousness, saving itself from its own illusion of separation. Real revelation isn't taught, it arises from the depths of your own being when the time is right. The conscious, masculine, impresses. The subconscious, feminine, conceives and gives birth. The mother's house is the subconscious, and the instruction is technical. Prepare for sleep. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let yourself drift. The seed is planted where it can take root. The descent into human limitation is deliberate. No one has ascended to heaven, but he who has descended. You cannot rise to the state you did not once occupy. So the infinite dreamer enters time, puts on a name, forgets, and begins the long, beautiful process of remembering. Ancient traditions call the dormant energy coiled at the base of the spine Kundalini. Not mysticism for mysticism's sake, but a poetic map of awakening, culminating in a revelation in the skull, human in face and hands, radiant in power. What is the instrument of creation in this drama? Imagination. Not a tool you use, but the divine operating as you. When you imagine any scene and feel it real, you're not pretending, you're participating in the same creative act that hung galaxies in space. Consciousness precedes form always. In the creative cycle, an idea arises, it blooms into feeling, and ends in a compulsion to act. But the idea itself is sterile without feeling. The subconscious doesn't care whether something is real or reasonable. It takes what you feel as fact and unfolds it. Because of this, nothing is impossible to you, except what you refuse to feel. Ignore the means, go straight to the end. Dwell feelingly in the state you desire as if it were already so, and life will organise the route. The path is not your job. Your job is the destination assumed. Then watch. Stories abound. A woman imagines her lost home, touching the furniture, looking out the familiar windows, and within weeks, a tangle of bureaucratic accidents return it against all legal counsel. A writer feels the weight of a finished book, sees his name on the cover, receives the gratitude of readers, then, with no pages written, meets an editor by chance who offers a contract for that very unwritten book. A friend finds a woman's stolen jewellery at a pawn shop without ever knowing it was missing, after she repeatedly imagines wearing those exact pieces. So what made the difference? Intensity. Lukewarm feelings don't create. Hot or cold does. Fervour or serene. Certainty. A person sleeping on a bench who feels like a millionaire with unshakable conviction is closer to wealth than the anxious executive with 7 figures, but continually unsettling doubt. Bring this into daily life and everything changes. Relationships become encounters of one consciousness, seeing itself from different angles. The person who blesses you and the one who wounds you both mirror states you are entertaining. In work, you don't chase, you assume. You won't attract what you want, you attract what you are conscious of being. Feel like the executive now, and the world will find ways to confirm it, with calls you didn't expect, rules that suddenly bend, a face that overlooked you yesterday now lights up when you enter. Health is categorical. Suppressed emotion manifests as disease. The body gives honest feedback about sustained feeling. A life lived under siege breeds autoimmune war. A life felt as suffocating can collapse into breath. This perspective isn't a medical prescription, it's a spiritual one, an invitation to take radical responsibility for the emotional atmosphere you carry. Responsibility isn't blame, it's creative power reclaimed. Prayer, then, isn't pleading with a distant judge. Prayer is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Faith is not hoping against evidence. Faith is sustained feeling in the face of appearances. Feel prosperity when the account is empty. Feel loved when alone. Feel whole in the doctor's office. The intensity of feelings becomes the metric determining outcomes. Even sin changes meaning. In Greek, sin is to miss the mark. The only real sin here is feeling yourself as something less than you desire to be, teaching your subconscious to produce lack. Regret is a trap. To dwell feelingly on past mistakes is to replant them for tomorrow. The subconscious does not distinguish between memory and imagination. Both are seeds, and death, it loses its final sting. The body may fall away, but consciousness never dies. It simply leaves one state and enters another, like slipping from waking into sleep and waking again elsewhere. You've done this more times than you could ever count. So what do you do with all of this? Tonight, tomorrow morning, next week? A simple practice. Emotional release. Don't white-knuckle your feelings. Express them privately, honestly. Empty the cup. Enter stillness. As you drift towards sleep or in meditation, relax the body, quiet the breath, and let the surface mind soften. Assume the end. Choose one clear outcome. Don't think about how. Feel the scene that would be true if it were already done. Touch it, hear it, smell it. Make it sensory. Make it simple. Let go. Fall asleep in that feeling, or rise from meditation carrying its afterglow into your day. Repeat until it feels natural. If doubt shows up, well, let it. Don't wrestle. Return to the feeling. Doubt is just an old habit dying. And remember the law of reversibility. Nothing truly vanishes. If something has been lost, a friend, fortune, a chance, its pattern still lives in imagination. Recreate it there with specificity. Often the route back appears in the most roundabout ways. One more clarity about grace and timing. Some awaken early to help others remember. Not by merit, by design. Inner knowing sets the hour. Your role is not to force the door, but to be ready when it opens. Everyone is equally divine. Only the stage of remembering differs. And when you finally see it, when the I am in you stands up, you stop searching outside. You stop begging. You stop bargaining. You begin to command, not others, not the world, but your own state. The world is faithful. It will arrange itself to mirror you. That realization can feel heavy at first. No one left to blame, nowhere left to hide. But look again. It's not a burden. It's freedom. If you unconsciously created the life you have now through unexamined feelings, imagine what you can do consciously with deliberate ones. Mastery is practice, gently, persistently, choosing the feeling you prefer day after day, night after night, training the instrument through which divine consciousness experiences life, and that's you. Sleep and prayer are the two gates to the subconscious. So tonight, as the lights go down, don't scroll. Don't rehearse the worst. Go to the end. If you seek abundance, feel the relief and quiet confidence of having more than enough. If you seek love, feel the warmth of a hand in yours. If you seek health, feel the ease of a body that serves you well. Fall asleep in the warm embrace of that comfort. And when you awake, carry that state like a secret you're delighted to keep. Watch as the world hurries to agree with you. You're not merely becoming divine, you are remembering. The divine name is still the simplest sentence in the world, the one you say 100 times a day without noticing. I am. Be careful what you let follow it, because whatever you feel after I am, you authorize, you ordain, you cause to be. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That is the whole instruction. All the rest are merely details. Thank you for watching.